Welcome to The Dice Tower, a video podcast about board games and the people who play them. This is a special episode of The Dice Tower in which Tom and Melody Vasel talk about their top 100 games. And now, here are your hosts, Tom, Melody, and Holly Vasel.
Welcome to The Dice Tower. Hi, welcome to The Dice Tower. We're going to talk about 6 more today of our top 100 games. I like this game because you're trying to make roads that have mostly your person on and trying to put out the most meeples.
Right. The game is a version of Carcassonne. We get a whole pile of meeples here, and then you get a bunch of tiles, and you'll put these tiles together, making different roads, or dropping them all over the floor, one of the two. So you put the tiles together on your turn, and every tile fits with every other tile. But when you put them down, every time you put a tile down that finishes off a road, you will put a person on that road. Let's say, for example, this road here is finished off. You'll put a person on that road for every color of person on that road. For example, see this road here is finished. There's one red person and one yellow person, so we put one red meeple and one yellow meeple. Be the first person to get all your meeples on the board, and you are the big winner. And so with beautiful tiles and really neat meeples and the ease of putting together all the tiles, Kids of Carcassonne, maybe not as strategic as regular Carcassonne, but definitely a good step for children. Even though I do beat Melody every single time ever. Say Anything is a great party game. Wonderful idea. No surprise that it's on my list. On it, basically you ask a question each turn. So I might say, what's my favorite animal? So everyone tries to write down what they think my favorite animal is. Okay, so write down, what do you think my favorite animal is? So, okay, I write an answer. Go ahead and write an answer here. So everyone writes an answer down. And then once all the answers are revealed, no, write your own answer down. Don't copy mine. Cheater. What are you writing? Well, anyway. So let's say, for example, I wrote dog, which is actually kind of boring. My favorite animal is, I don't know, tiger. But anyway, everyone writes down an answer, and then everyone bids on which answer they think I'm going to pick. Oh, he wrote dog also. Do you want dog or dog? But the game actually, the first person to get the answer in is the one who has it. But Say Anything is so funny because you can write anything you want. Now, for some people that boggles their mind, oh no, I'm not very creative. You don't have to be. You answer the question. Where's the best place in the world to go on vacation? Who's the worst band of all times? What's your favorite television show? What if you could be any TV character, which one would you want to be? All these questions and more are in the game, and it becomes a real laugh ride, especially when answers build upon previous answers. A very, very funny game. I think everyone should get a copy of Say Anything, one of the best party games in existence.
Because you're trying to make a zoo and trying to make lots of people come to your place and they like baby animals.
Right. Now, I think Melody and I have played every single expansion for Zoo Loretto. There is a lot of stuff. If you look at the box here, inside this box, it's just full of all kinds of things. There's the regular Zoo Loretto, and there's a bunch of expansions with animals and people actually who will come to visit your zoo. And there's a baby panda bear, and there's a gorilla. And we don't play with all the expansions at the same time because that would drive us crazy. But we have played with quite a few of them. And we found that Zoo Loretto actually makes a good two-player game. And my favorite animals is the flamingos, I think. What's your favorite animal?
I don't know.
Well, there's so many different kinds. And when you buy exotic, you'll get even more animals. Oh, wait.
My favorite one's the leopard.
You like the leopards the best? Mm-hmm. Either way, it's really fun to put your zoo together and see what kind of animals. And it's a pretty decent game as is. So while you're getting zebras and cheetahs and gorillas and more, Melody and I have played this game many, many times, both as a family and just her against me. When I look at my list of Twilight struggle over the past 4 years, it came on the list at 86, then the 79, then the 31, and this year at 21. That's because every time I play it, I am more fascinated by how much fun, but more how interesting it is. Every game I played plays completely differently. And with a game that comes with scripted events, you would think that it would play out the same. A game that follows history, it seems very historical, and yet every game is different. Some games we're battling over Europe. Other games it's over Asia. Sometimes South America is where all the action is. Twilight Struggle recreates the Cold War. Certainly gives an advantage to the USSR player, but a good USA player definitely has a chance in this, and it lets us use all kinds of lingo from the 80s. It lets us go after each other. It has the feeling of a war game. It has the feeling of an area control game. It's maybe the most thematic game I've ever played. Definitely a good one for teaching history. There's nothing I can really say bad about it other than they came out with a nicer version in the new mounted board. I wish that had come in the one I got. But still, even without a mounted board, Twilight Struggle is great.
I like this game because they're racing horses.
Right, and look at the really cool pieces of the game. Melody's going to show you they have different jockeys, and you put them on the horse, and then you'll put them on this really neat racetrack with even some three-dimensional, here's a wall that you have to jump over, and if you look, here's another guy riding a horse. And the game actually has some strategy for kids. You're playing cards, and you're not trying to play, you're trying to figure out which card is the best time to play it, because if you play a low card, you won't go very far, but someone else isn't going to push you back. You play a hard card, someone might land on you and push you back. You want to make sure that you have enough to jump over the different obstacles, whether it be the stream or the walls or the hedges or even other horses. But even if the game wasn't really that good, I think it would be very well liked, if only because of how neat the horse pieces are. And kids get a real kick out of moving them around the track. And Melody, these aren't toys. You have to put them back when we're done. This is not the game I'm talking about. This is Lost Cities, the board game. And Lost Cities, the board game is okay. Didn't even make my top 200 actually though. So, I mean, it's a good game I suppose, but Lost Cities is a card game. And I don't have it with me right now because Lost Cities is a game that I lend out more than anyone else. When someone comes to me and says, I'm looking for a good game to play with my husband, or I'm looking for a good game to play with my wife, Lost Cities, you'll love it. Play it, play it, play it now. And it's just a fantastic game in which you're playing cards down, trying to get as many in order as you can, starting with the smaller to larger, but there's only one of every card, so the more cards you play on your side, the less your opponent has to play on his side of each color. And if you don't play enough cards, you actually lose points. There's a very tense nature to the game where I try to keep cards in my hand to stop my opponent from being able to play cards from their hand. Lost Cities used to be in my top 10 and started, I think, as number 10 on my list. Where it's at now is in no measure because I dislike it anymore. It's only because better and greater games are discovered in the meantime. But I'll tell you, Lost Cities is still one of the ultimate choices for a two-player game. Lost City, the board game, you might like it, you might not. But the card game, marvelous. Alright, well, thanks for watching the Dice Tower with us. We'll be back with 6 more great games in just a jiffy. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Melody. Hey, Holly.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.